In a museum vault in Athens sits a lump of corroded bronze that some scientists now believe might never have worked at all. For over a century it's been called the world's first computer, an ancient Greek machine built to predict eclipses centuries before they happened. But a growing number of researchers are now asking a very different question. Was the Antikythera mechanism actually broken, or unfinished, from the very start? To answer that, the story begins not in a laboratory, but at the bottom of the Aegean Sea. In the spring of 1900 a crew of Greek sponge divers, sheltering from a storm near the tiny island of Antikythera, stumbled onto the wreck of a Roman-era cargo ship. Working at a depth some accounts put at nearly 45 meters down, in canvas diving suits with almost no safety margin, they hauled up bronze statues, glassware, and coins that had rested there since around 60 BC. Among the treasure was a shapeless, encrusted lump of metal that almost nobody thought was worth a second look. It sat in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens for months, catalogued as scrap, until May 1902 when archaeologist Valerios Stais noticed something impossible embedded in the rock-hard bronze. A gear wheel, cut with a precision no one expected from the ancient world. Inside that single fragment lay dozens more, corroded together, hiding a machine no one alive had the tools to understand. It would take most of the 20th century just to begin reading it. It was a Yale historian named Derek de Solla Price who finally began to crack it open, not with a hammer, but with radiation. Starting in the 1950s, and working with Greek physicist Charalampos Karakalos in the early 1970s, Price used gamma rays and X-rays to peer inside the fragments without destroying them. In 1974 he published his findings, at least 30 interlocking bronze gears, arranged to track the sun, the moon, and the calendar with an accuracy Europe wouldn't match again for over 1,000 years. But Price's X-rays were crude by modern standards, and huge parts of the mechanism remained a mystery, buried inside fragments still packed with ancient sediment. That mystery finally broke open in 2005 when a British-Greek team called the Antikythera Mechanism Research Project brought in an 8-ton industrial X-ray scanner nicknamed Bladerunner. Led by mathematician Tony Freeth and astronomer Mike Edmonds of Cardiff University, the team scanned all 82 surviving fragments in three-dimensional detail, slicing through 2,000 years of corrosion without touching the bronze. Beneath the rust they found over 3,400 characters of ancient Greek text, an actual instruction manual, and confirmed at least 30 gears, some no bigger than a coin. For the first time, the machine could be read almost like a book. And what that book described was staggering. On the front, a single dial tracked the sun and moon against the Egyptian calendar and the zodiac, with a small rotating ball, half silver, half black, showing the exact phase of the moon on any given day. On the back, two spiral dials modeled the 19-year Metonic cycle and the Saros cycle of 223 lunar months, the ancient pattern used for centuries to predict eclipses, now turned into rotating bronze. A smaller dial even tracked the 4-year rhythm of the Pan-Hellenic Games, including the Olympics. It sounds like a flawless machine, but the closer researchers looked, the more cracks they found, literally. Freeth's team discovered that the holes on the calendar ring weren't evenly spaced, that some gear teeth were slightly the wrong shape, and that at least one gear seems to have been cut, then recut, as if the maker was correcting a mistake mid-build. Even the tooth counts on certain wheels didn't quite match the astronomy they were meant to track, small errors that would have thrown its predictions off over time. For an object praised as ancient engineering perfection, that's a strange amount of imperfection to explain away. Those imperfections are exactly what's reignited the argument today. Was the Antikythera mechanism a true working instrument, used to predict real eclipses and calendar dates, or something else entirely, an unfinished commission, a training piece for an apprentice, even a showpiece never meant to run smoothly at all? Some historians now argue it may never have functioned as intended when it sank around 60 BC, a beautiful, ambitious machine that was, quite possibly, already flawed or unfinished when the sea closed over it. Others insist the errors are minor, the kind any handmade bronze device would carry, and that the machine's core achievement, modeling the cosmos with gears, stands regardless. No manuscript survives to settle it. Only the bronze itself, and the argument it keeps starting. Whichever side of that debate turns out to be right, one fact doesn't change. Nothing else like it survives from the ancient world. No gear-driven machine of comparable complexity appears again in the historical record for well over 1,000 years. Today the fragments still rest in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, turning slowly under climate-controlled glass, still being rescanned, still being argued over. Broken toy or the world's first analog computer, maybe it's a little of both, and maybe that's exactly why it still fascinates us. If this story pulled you in, give it a like, share it with someone who loves history as much as you do, and subscribe to Unearthed Facts for more true stories waiting to be uncovered.